So let's talk about this question, can new nurses work part-time? But better yet, the other question we're going to discuss is, should you work part-time as a new nurse? Hey everybody, this is Thomas from Nurse Money Talk, and let's talk about this question of working part-time as a new nurse. Now, I know that there's probably, a whole host of reasons why you might want to work part-time as a new nurse. And of course, those reasons are your own, but there's some good news and some bad news with that. Before I get started though, I want to go ahead and invite you, if you find this video helpful, to go ahead and hit the thumbs up, and don't forget to hit the subscribe button so you do not miss any of my upcoming videos. So like I already said, there's some good news and some bad news. The good news in all of this, I guess depending on how you look at it, is that I have heard that there are facilities that will hire new grads as new grad nurses on a part-time basis. It's not really a common thing, but that does happen. I've heard a couple different ways that they're doing it. Like I think one thing I was reading, they were just hired as they were just hired on a part-time basis. There was another where this particular nurse was hired part-time, but they had an orientation that during their orientation period they still had to go full-time, and then once they're done and off orientation, then they could go part-time. There was another where they had to go full-time on orientation, but then they could actually, pick up however many hours they wanted. So, so that is available. The next part is, should you work part-time as a new nurse? And this is where I get to the bad side of the equation, because I don't really think new nurses, and I'm talking about like fresh out of nursing school, should work part-time as a nurse, at least for like the first 1 to 2 years. And there's a couple reasons for that. I'm not gonna get into like what you're going to lose from not working full-time, which is decreased pay and decreased benefits, because I'm assuming that you probably already know this. Like I'm guessing it's probably no secret that if you work on a part-time basis, you're going to have reduced pay, or you're going to make less and have no benefits or less benefits versus your full-time counterpart. And of course, by by less pay, I don't necessarily mean on an hourly basis, but just, in total, if you're working 20 hours and, your full-time counterpart is working 40, then of course, all likelihood, the one who's working the 40 hours is going to make more money. So that's deal. But no, I'm not even going to get to that, because I think those are a given. There's two things that I really want to add to this that I hope will convince you not to do it. And the first one is that when you're done with nursing school, you really don't know. You know some things, but you really don't know a lot of things, if you know what I mean. I think nursing school is great, but when you get done with that and when you go out to the clinical site, that is when, and during your orientation, that's when I feel like you really start learning. You really start getting a handle on, okay, we're no longer in a theoretical, ideal NCLEX world. Now we are in the real world, and this is how you actually take care of patients. This is what you need to do. This is how you need to respond. This is how you need to call the doctors, and so on and so forth. Those are all the learnings and all the teachings that just takes time. And the thing is that like, I don't feel like you really get comfortable as a nurse until after like your first 1 to 2 years. And I'm not talking about comfortable as in like your specific area. I think that's also true too for the time frame. But for a new nurse, I'm talking about like just the being comfortable of being a nurse, regardless of whether you started in psych, med surg, ICU, ER, OB, whatever. I mean, I'm just talking about the confidence of just being a nurse, confidence of just being around patient, being the primary nurse care, slash caregiver for that particular patient or for those group of patients. That takes time. That takes, I feel like, about a year to 2 years to really on your own to really start getting comfortable. And part-time just like I feel like it does a disservice to that. I really do, because I feel like it kind of lengthens out that process. And then it gets to the second part, which is like, from what I've seen of like this part-time, of new nurses working part-time, and even in situations where like you're not a new nurse, you're just a regular, like, you could be an experienced nurse and you're working part-time, is that it doesn't feel like facilities are really as invested in you when you are a part-time employee. And I feel like that's really important as a new nurse. Like, you could argue how important it is or isn't once you have experience and, you can leave and go work elsewhere pretty easily. But when you are a new nurse, I think it's really difficult to be a new nurse and not have support of a facility, not have the backup. I know what it feels like to be a new nurse, to work at a facility and not feel like you have adequate support. And it makes a really big difference. And I feel like you don't have support, and then it'll end up just kind of delaying your entire, just kind of, if you want to call it maturation as a nurse. With that said, I think, there's a reason why when I typically see part-times or PRN or per diem positions, they typically, or at least from the ones I've seen, have like a stipulation of like you need at least kind of like that 2-year requirement, 2 years of previous nursing experience. Now, is that saying that, if you do end up deciding to work part-time, that you're going to be a failure at it and all that jazz? No. Of course not. It just means that things are going to be a little bit more challenging for you, potentially. So 2 things I want to add to that is, 1, if you haven't found a job and you are looking for a nursing job, there's nursemoneytalk.com/jobs to use our job board and find, new nurse positions in whatever area that you're looking for a job in. 2 is that there are, for new nurses that are just getting started, I understand how difficult it can be just kind of get acclimated and get comfortable working. So one of the things that I've been kind of looking at are these courses for new grad nurses. And so there is one in particular. So you can go check out that course by going to nursemoneytalk.com/new grad academy. And so you can then go check out the courses there, just kind of looking at it. They'll go over things like, documenting IV insertions, you know, just kind of like solidifying a lot of those things you learned from nursing school, but in kind of like in the vacuum of like, okay, we're not training for the NCLEX, we're training for real life, which is there is a difference, believe it or not. There is actually a difference. So you can go check that out by going to nursemoneytalk.com/new grad academy, all one words. You'll see it on their screen, and then you'll also see it in the descriptions below. Thank you so much for watching this video, and I will catch you very soon in that next video.